I was finally able to build an AI automation to handle a project for me that I've been trying to build for a few months now, and I used Make AI Agent for it. So I partnered with Make for this video to show you exactly how it works. Now I'll give you a quick background on this, and I think a lot of people could benefit from this type of automation. I've been using a ton of different tools in the last couple of years, like custom GPTs inside of ChatGPT, to repurpose my YouTube videos, and it's never really clicked for me because it still requires a lot of manual steps in the automation process, right? I still have to click things, copy and paste things, and it's something that I continuously keep forgetting to do in my day-to-day work. Now with Make AI Agents, I was able to build a real AI automation that handles every step for me. So if you haven't used Make before, or if you're new to it, Make is a visual platform where you could design, build, and automate just about anything. Now the new upgrade, Make AI Agents, they let you build customizable AI-driven assistants that could decide, adapt in real time, and integrate with your workflows too. And Make could connect just about anything, over 2,000 different apps across 30,000 different actions. So pretty much whatever you want to build, this could probably connect it. And I've set myself a brand new account here so you could follow along. Any type of prompt that I'm going to use, I'm going to include in the description. And before we jump in, Make also gave me a free month of the Pro plan with 10,000 operations included that I could give to you. So I'll put a link in the description to that plan so you could follow along with the rest of the video. And I think this is something you'll want to build for yourself too. So here inside of my Make account, on the left side, you'll see something called AI Agents. So click on this and we'll go ahead and click Create an Agent to create our very first one. Now, the first thing it's going to ask you to create a connection. Now, this connection is simply asking what AI model you want to use. That's the nice thing with this. It gives you a ton of different options. Now, I'm going to choose OpenAI. Make has their own AI provider. You could use Anthropic, Gemini. Pretty much any AI tool you want is under this dropdown. But OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, because I'm going to use a ChatGPT model, I'm going to choose that one. Then it's going to ask for my API key here. That comes directly from OpenAI. So if you're totally new to these type of AI automations, every time you want to create some kind of automation, you will need to get an API key from the company that runs the AI model. In this case, I'm going to use a version of ChatGPT, so that comes from OpenAI. Let me show you exactly how to get that right now. If you don't know how to get an API key from OpenAI, it's available to everyone. So if you go to a website called platform.openai.com, it's going to bring you to this page, and you want to go ahead and log in or create yourself a free account. Now, this is totally separate from your chatgpt.com account. This is to get an API key so we can build those kind of automations. I'm going to go to the dashboard here, and on the left side, you'll see API keys over here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and create a new secret key. You could name it here and create it. And most likely, if it's your first time creating one, it's going to ask you for a credit card, and you'll pay OpenAI on the OpenAI platform based on API usage. And back on Make, it will ask you to go to the OpenAI billing page here. So it will link directly there too. I'll save it now. Next, I'm going to name this agent Script Repurposing Agent. And then I'm going to choose an AI model. I actually like ChatGPT 5 Mini. Now, this is a good balance, in my opinion, between a really smart AI model, a fast AI model, and a very affordable AI model from all the ones available. Then you have your system prompt right over here. So system prompt is what the agent needs to do the task that you're going to give it. You want to describe exactly what you want this agent to do. Now I'm going to paste mine here, then I'll walk you kind of briefly through it, but I'll copy it in the description below the video so you could kind of copy and paste it for your own and go ahead and edit it as you need to. Okay, it brings us to this page here, and I'll walk you through the different settings. This is where you set up your Make AI agent here. You could click on Improve, which I found really beneficial. It improves your system prompt, especially if you're new to system prompting. But to walk you through the basics of the system prompt, I tell it what it is. So you are a script repurposing agent. Your goal is to repurpose YouTube scripts that I write in Google Docs into 2 new formats. So the point of my agent, and you could do this with a blog post, for example, any type of document that you have inside of Google Docs. I actually don't have these videos on YouTube. I'm not pulling them from YouTube. I pull them directly after I write the script in Google Docs. I'll show you how this all works. Then what it does is first, it creates a 60-second YouTube short script with a strong hook, 3 quick steps, and 1 clear CTA. So it writes a new script for me that's ready to read. I'm going to show you what it does after that too. It writes a LinkedIn post for me, And then I told it exactly what to do with those things. I told it when it's done writing that YouTube short script to ping me on Slack to tell me it's ready. So I go ahead and record it like this. I like to create original YouTube shorts. And then on top of that, it will also post the LinkedIn post for me. It will write one, create a document around it, and post it for me. And I could build on top of it even more. But right now, that is doing two things that I was always leaving on the table that I just didn't get the time to do. They were not fully automated. They required copy and pasting. This does it for me automatically. Then you have context. So this section is also a very important section. Background information, additional context for your agent. So what I like to do here is actually tell it the tone and the style of the writing. But I want to show you how to create a context document from scratch in this step, because this is something you could use across all your AI automations. So because this is a repurposing agent, I needed to have a really clear understanding on how I like to talk, my tone, my reading level for the content that I write. So what I'm gonna do is inside of ChatGPT here, I'm gonna give it a simple prompt like this. Analyze the following text for writing style, the tone, the reading level, and create a document for me using Canvas. This is a tool that ChatGPT has just to make it easier to read and download, that I can give an AI agent to mimic my writing style. And then I'm just gonna paste something that I got from a YouTube transcript. So I just went to YouTube on one of my videos and I copied the transcript. You could do this with anyone's writing or your own. I recommend if you wrote anything, as long as there's enough, like a paragraph or two, it will have enough of a sample here to analyze. And you can see writing style, conversational, and really, really detailed breakdown, tone, reading level, whatever else you want to analyze with your writing style, I recommend you do that here. Okay, now when it's done, I'm just gonna press download right on top, and you could download any of these formats. Now, markdowns are fine too, but usually a Word doc is fine. Now, back on Make, I'm gonna add this context, and again, you could do PDFs, text files, any type of file. Just analyze your own writing style. I'm gonna upload mine. And then I'm gonna add a description, because you typically wanna have a really solid description with pretty much every step of building an AI agent, so the agent knows everything that is going on with this. So the context of this is my writing style. Use it anytime you repurpose any content. So I'm gonna go ahead and save that. Now, you have two more things here as you build your agent. So far, we had our AI model that we picked in the very beginning. We have the system prompt. Those are the two most important things to get you going. Then the context is optional, but I like to give it something like I just showed you. Then you have tools. So what makes an agent really powerful is access to other tools. And there's a couple of things you'll see over here. First, you have MCPs. So MCPs are a connector. They could connect to pretty much any type of an external server. So that's one way to connect to just about everything on the internet. But in this case, we're going to use tools, which are also things that could connect, make to other services. So with tools, you have two options. I'm going to press add here. You could add to modules or scenarios. Now, this is really interesting because modules could be simple individual actions. And I have an example for you to see, but if you want one action to be done, a module is going to be able to do that, connect to one tool and one action. Scenarios are entire workflows that you could connect to, and you could give the agent the power of that entire scenario, which is a really powerful option. And you could pick and choose multiple module scenarios this agent can have access to. And once the agent does have that access, it will be able to make those decisions and complete those tasks for you using those tools. Okay, let's go ahead and start here with a couple of tools that we need. The first one I'm going to create is going to be a scenario. It's going to be a multi-step tool. Now, you could go ahead and create it here, right? Since we don't have one, it lets you create it right over here. I typically actually like to go to that page, scenarios page right here, and you'll see all the different scenarios you've built in the past, because you could use Make just with scenarios without the AI agents. Obviously, when you give access to the scenarios to the agent, it gets a lot more powerful, and it could start making decisions and do things a lot more than just using the regular scenarios here. But I'm going to go ahead and create one here right on top. And I'm going to go ahead and build one from scratch. They also have a ton of different templates, but in this case, I know exactly what I want to happen. This is what the page looks like. They got a ton of different tutorials if you haven't built these before. Now, the very first thing I like to do is I just like to come up here and I like to name the scenario so I don't forget. A lot of times, if I start creating it, I forget to name it later. And with the agent, the instruction you give it, a lot of times you could call this by name, this type of a tool or a scenario, it will go and fetch that. And then before I press the plus sign, with each of these down here, you have an input and an output. I like to set this right up front also, and then I'll show you exactly what's going to happen when I press the plus sign. But with the input, let me add one here to explain what's happening. I'm basically going to tell it what I'm expecting to happen as the input and what the output should be. Now I call it script text from a file ID. You could name this whatever you want, but it's best to have some kind of a naming system that is easy for you to remember. So I have one here that I've created. Then I describe what's going to happen. File ID from a Skill Leap YouTube video, and it will get the text document from that. It's in text format. I leave default value to empty, and I'll set this to be required here. So that's it for input. And then I have an output also. So I could add an output. What happens at the end? And in this case, it's going to get the script text, which again, the description, full YouTube text from that doc. So it's going to be able to, with the file ID, find a new document and then extract the text and give the agent that text. That's what this workflow is going to do. And if you set it to multi-line, it could write multi-line. So I'll set it to that. I'll press save. Okay, so now I have an input and output ready. Now I'm going to press the plus sign and I'm going to choose Google Docs, which again, there's thousands of apps you could connect to this way. Google Docs is obviously one of them, and you have a ton of different actions within each document. In this case, I wanted to get content from a document. It's going to see when a new document appears and it'll get the content from that. Then it's going to ask you to connect. Obviously, it's my first time using it on this account, so you have to give a connection permission to Google. So I'll click on this and set that up. Very simple. Okay, I checked on all the requests. And by the way, under the connections, you could add new connections there anytime or remove any existing one, always available there. I'm going to do by mapping, and I'm going to click on document ID. Now, if you go to this tab right here at the end, you'll see your custom and system variables. That's your input that I selected myself. That's why I set that up in the very beginning. It always appears here, so I could just select it here. Now you could do it by drop down, but I don't want to do it right here by drop down because I wanted to map here to what's happening in my actual account, and the document ID came from that. I'm gonna press save. Okay, now I'm gonna turn this into a scenario right now. So I'm gonna press the plus sign here, and there is something called scenario. You could look for it. It's this one right here. I'm going to select it, and under action here, I want it to return an output. And if I click here, I want it to give me the script text, right? And I have all these different options available on what it can do. So the one I want over here is called text content. So I could click on this right here. So this is going to get the script text. I'm going to save that. Okay, I'll go ahead and save this here. Now, with this type of scenario, it's also asking you to actually change it on demand because we're pulling something from Google Drive here. So I'm going to update that schedule, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this on demand when I'm ready. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and save it so we could actually do a quick test. So I'm just going to run it once to run a test. And to run a test, it will, for input, ask me for the file ID. So I'll just show you, if you go to a Google Doc, you'll see your file ID here right after the D. So this right here is the file ID before edit. So it's between D/ and edit. Again, that's going to happen automatically. I'm just doing a quick test here to make sure it's working. So I'm going to input that and press OK. And it's going to run, and it's going to show you that it's working. So you'll see one action was taken here, one action was taken here. And here under the log section on the bottom, I could see exactly what happened. As long as these turn green, okay, and you get that each action was taken, this is working exactly like I want. Now, I could go ahead and turn it on demand. Now, I'm going to give my agent access to this right now. This is just running as a scenario, but I'll show you what happens once the agent has access to it. Okay, let's go back to the AI agent tab here, and we'll go back to our repurposing agent. So far, I just created that new scenario. So I'm going to press add, and I'm going to add it. Now, when you add it, it will show up under the drop-down the way I made it. So I could click on it right over here, and I could give it a description. Remember, with AI agents, always describe what this is supposed to do. And this tool takes the file ID or document ID that it finds in a new script scenario and uses it to pull the full script text. I'm going to go ahead and add this one. Now, this agent has the AI model in the background, has the system instructions, has my context with the tone, and has this one specific tool. Now, this is already going to go to work, but I want to build the whole workflow. So we're going to add a couple more tools here. And this time we'll build some simpler ones. We'll just do the modules. With the modules, it's a one-off action. So they're really easy to make. And we'll go ahead and just build a module tool from this page. Very straightforward with these. The first one I'm going to create here is going to be a Google Docs, but this time it's going to be able to write a new one, right? We're repurposing content. So I'm going to choose that one. And this is going to be able to create a new document. So a different action here. And my description is going to be create a document for shorts and LinkedIn post text. It's going to be the same document, but it's going to break it up. And I explained that in the system instruction to kind of break it up into two different sections. It already knows my connection because we already connected to our Google accounts. For the name and the context, I'm going to ask the AI to decide for me here. And then it's going to save it somewhere. So I don't want to save in the same folder because it's going to create kind of a loop. It's going to always see a new document being created and try to repurpose that. So I'm going to create this in a new folder that I'm going to have, which I already created called AI created files. So it will move into that folder instead of the folder my scripts are living in. And that's it for creating new tools, these module tools, because they're just one action. They don't need a scenario like the one I just created here. They just literally do one thing, which is go create a new document. Now, the next one, I'm actually going to have it post on LinkedIn for me. So this is really handy. We'll create a new one. This one is going to be a LinkedIn and create a user text post. In this case, I want to actually post it to my company page. So create a company text post. And the name of it is, I'm going to put right here, LinkedIn creates an organizational text post. And in this description, because I'm creating a doc that is multiple different things for multiple platforms, YouTube Short being one of them, this says share only the LinkedIn specific repurposed content from the Google Doc. I'm going to go ahead and connect to my LinkedIn account here because this is a new connection. I've only connected to OpenAI and Google so far. And I chose my company page and I let AI decide the content here. And we'll add one more here. Okay, now this is going to notify me on Slack when a new YouTube short is ready, which again, this agent takes care of. It takes my long form, makes a short form. Now, this is a lot more handy lately because we have other researchers that are helping me with the script writing process. So maybe that way, as soon as it's ready and they put it in my folder, this does the repurposing, it does the posting on LinkedIn, and it's going to let me know when a YouTube short is ready. So I'll create a new one, and this time we'll choose Slack. You could send this to a group in Slack, by the way, too, or just this is going to ping me directly, direct message. Create and send a message on Slack. Again, I'll connect to Slack here too. And it's going to be a Slack user. And this is going to be a direct message sent to me on Slack on the Slack channel I give it access to. And I'm going to let AI decide the text here. I'm going to let everything be decided by AI, and I'll add. Okay, that's pretty much it. You could build this a lot more. You could post to a lot more platforms, repurpose this in a lot of different ways. But just to show you so far, this is going to take a YouTube script that gets created in Google Doc in a specific folder. Then it's going to actually repurpose it as a LinkedIn post and a YouTube Shorts script. Then it's going to post it on LinkedIn, and it's going to notify me on Slack that this is ready for me to now read a short version of that script too. Okay, so now you could go ahead and do some testing here if you want on the right side, but we still need to create one more scenario here. Okay, so let me go ahead and create it and explain what this is going to do. Now, this one is actually not a tool I'm making. I'm just making an automation here for the agent to run continuously. So I'm just going to call this right on top, run agent. That's the job of this one. And again, if you build more agents, name them accordingly because you may want to have multiple different agents doing multiple different things. Now, this one actually doesn't need input and output because we're not giving it to the agent. That was more specific because we were giving something to the agent at the end. This time we're not doing that. So I just need to start here with a Google Drive connection. Let me show you why. In Google Drive, I wanted to actually find out every time there is a new file. So they have an option for that. You could do it with Google Docs too, but I like to use Google Drive for this. And only because I wanted to specifically look inside of that folder. So this says trigger when a file is created inside of a folder. So I'll choose that one. Now I connected to Google Docs, but this is going to ask me to connect to Google one more time for Google Drive access. Now this time I chose a very specific folder here with the dropdown. So I don't need AI to decide anything here. I'm going to limit it to just one so you could always see the latest one, and I'll go ahead and save that. And then you could tell it from now on or on a specific date. Now the next thing is I'm going to press the plus sign and I'm going to to choose Make AI Agent to then run that agent, okay, this option right here. And if I click here under the different agents that I have one that I created, so I'll choose that agent here. This is how you set up a schedule to run the agent. It could be by itself also. It doesn't have to be from a trigger like this one. You could just have the AI agent running as your first action here, your first trigger. So you could see I have all the different tools, scenarios, and modules. All those are there. I could always add more here. You'll also see any MCP if you connect it to external servers that way. Your context is here. And down here, I'm going to go ahead and add a message. And this is going to be my starter message, as if I was talking to a regular chatbot. This is the file ID for my new script in Google Drive, repurpose the content. That's what I'm telling the agent to do as a user. And here, I'm going to choose the file ID. So that's going to add it here organically every time it gets created here. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and save it from there. Okay, now that it's saved, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Now, this doesn't actually have to run every 15 minutes, right? Because I don't get a YouTube script every 15 minutes. I get it once a day. So I could do this every day at a specific time, right? Depending on what our schedule looks like. So this should be fine right now. I'm going to press save. So as soon as a script is ready, it'll know that. And usually by 3 o'clock, we have one ready. So it'll run exactly then. Now, just for the sake of testing, I'm going to just change this to run right now so I could show you the output that I'm getting. Okay, so it went and checked for Google Drive. So one action ran there and it knows that I created a new document. I actually just copied the script here and it created it in the same folder as I have all my scripts. So now the agent is going to work. And after a few seconds, it's done. So let's check its work. Let's go to Google Docs first. Okay, so here's the document it created for me. It created a YouTube short. Now with YouTube shorts, I actually like to break it down this way into hook steps. That's where the custom instruction, that system prompt that I gave it, comes into play. So that's why it's formatted this way. The LinkedIn post is not formatted that way because this is going to go ahead and post it. Now I might want more line breaks, maybe a couple emojis thrown in there, but that's where, again, my system prompt comes in. The context is following how my conversational style is, and it's writing in that tone. And again, if you build this out even further, you could have one for X, for example, for Facebook. You could just build this out for other type of content you want to post either manually or automatically. Now on LinkedIn, here's my actual profile, my business profile. 1 minute ago, I automated my YouTube script repurposing with Make AI Agent in minutes. And this came exactly from the script for this exact video. So I could show you what the output looks like here. And I think it's pretty good. And if I go to my Slack over here, there it is, my YouTube short script. I automated YouTube shorts with Make AI Agent. That's the script that got repurposed. This link should take me directly to this where I could go ahead and read that. And for the LinkedIn section too, it showed me exactly what's been posted on LinkedIn. So it's nice to get a Slack message just to check what is posting. If I want to make some alteration or fix my system prompt, the whole point is just run this and keep improving on it till you have something you're really happy with and your automation is running according to plan. Now, as you build more automations and more of these AI agents, it gets easy to lose track of where everything connects. So Make has introduced a new update called Make Grid that fixes a lot of that for you. Now, you could access Grid on the left section here on the sidebar. You could also look at it on these individual scenarios here. So I'll show you this one right here. So you could see a nice visual presentation here and you could move around your entire organization. So again, as this gets more complicated, it's nice to zoom out to see big picture and zoom in. And you could select by layer. So for example, I want to see how my data is being transferred. It's going to show me that. If I want to see how my credits are being used, I could see that by credits. Again, this is a brand new account, but you could see how powerful this could become as you have more data, more tools, more agent. You could get a really nice view to see how they talk to each other here through all kinds of different ways. And I think if anything breaks, this is a nice place to come back to see how everything is working. And this makes building AI agents a lot less of a mystery, right? You have a lot more control here and you could see exactly what's going on. And when you are done testing everything, this is, again, where you could run your agent and turn it on, and it will run based on the schedule that you set here. Mine was daily. You could set it as often as you want here, depending on your use case. So hopefully that example of that Make AI agent showed you a few different ways you could create AI agents for yourself to automate all kinds of different things in your business. Again, make sure to grab the link in the description and take advantage of that free month of the Pro plan and start building your AI agent today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will catch you on the next one.